Good evening, everybody. Hello, welcome back to Lozy PC, and welcome back to a bit of a later stream, actually, than usual. But welcome back to some Victoria 3 with the Russian Empire, where we are slowly, slowly improving Russia. We are kind of investing quite heavily in Kiev. So Ukraine at the moment, to make sure that we are kind of producing lots of grain, because it's one of the things that our population has been kind of struggling with. It's still our highest expenditure for our population, even though it's kind of less than what it needs to be. And yeah, we just produce a fuck ton of grain, and we will carry on doing so. We are slowly trying to industrialize, ever so slowly. We've still got a way to go before we are there, but we will try and slowly build ourselves up. We do actually have an economy that is healthy. The wine producing Lechonsk has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. Let's increase the output for that. So that would be the wine coming from here. So yeah, why not? France wants a trade agreement. Now, we said no last time, because the thing with the French trade agreement is the French get a lot from us, if I remember rightly. They definitely do, I swear they do. Maybe wood? Yeah, they buy a lot of our wood. They import a lot of our wood, and basically we would lose that tariff if we signed a trade agreement. It would increase our relations with the French, which obviously is not a bad thing, but we would lose the huge tariff. Nice looming. Was it Twitch, or was it the thing in the Discord? So at the moment, economic-wise, we are making a lot of money off our tariffs. Mostly from 13k from the import of liquor. We don't import liquor though. Wait, we do. We import... Oh, we import shit tons from China. I forgot about that. Yeah. We basically import our booze from China. I forgot about that. But yeah, you can see we make 6k from the export of wood, which if we signed a trade agreement with the French, we'd lose out on that 6k. It wouldn't completely fuck our economy, but it wouldn't be ideal, so I kind of don't want to. Now, so, realism is a thing we could do, which would give us more prestige, but it's not necessarily what I want to do. Where is it dialectics? Dialectics would allow us to do philosophy departments in universities, which would give us more innovation, which is kind of our big issue at the moment. Militarily, we could do hydraulic cranes, but I don't see any need for us to do that. Crystal glass might not be a bad idea. It uses more lead, but it does mean we don't use as much wood, but we have a lot of wood, so it's not really, again, anything that's going to cause us too many problems. I think what we should go for here is central banking, because it is being spread anyway. It will give us extra money and help us to boost our economy. Now, one of the big things that we have to deal with, is the load of radicals that we have, but secondly is our growing pop. It's slowed down a little bit now, which is good. But yeah, our population is growing by like 300k a year, which is a lot of people. Now, one thing we are doing is we are expanding the iron mines in the Ural Mountains, which we really need to do because iron is very expensive. I think we are now building, if I remember rightly, with... I know, we're still building with wood. Oof. That's rough. How's that do for our market detail? 2,000 wood like being used. The thing is, that's with exporting shit tons to the French and the Sicilian market. USA just started a conquer state against Mexico. Interesting. Now, I'm curious to see what happens here between Britain and the Americans, because that's not the worst border I've seen in this game for that. Texas is independent. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. The world is intriguing right now as we slowly increase our standard of living. We need to get close. Now, one of the things that we did do for our economics, for our economy, that is only going to get better over time, is we could put a consumption tax on services. Services in this game represent things like the service industry, so cafes and bars and shops, etc. And they are run by they come from urban centres. So, for example, in somewhere like Moscow, we have an urban centre of 7,000. Seven, which gives us an employment of 38,000 people, 2,500 clergy. 2,500 shopkeepers, 6,000 clerks. 27,000 labourers, some engineers, etc. And that's fine. I mean, we can obviously reduce that, and we will want to reduce that number. Have I changed the sound settings? I shouldn't have done. Are you on about the game? So Bukhara backed down. It didn't give me co-count, which is kind of annoying, which means I got the infamy for that for nothing. But my infamy is still reputable. So, okay. So, that means we did get, Uzbekistan or Uzbekia from thingy. Now, we do have a load of opium, which not necessarily great because now people are going to want to smoke opium, but we will see how it goes. We did just get 700,000 radicals, but mostly from the Uzbeks who we conquered. Tough. Now, this is the one that we're going to improve, is the cotton plantations. Because we can do it with livestock ranches as well. Livestock ranches are great. We can, do this and increase the amount of food and also fabric we get from it. But we want to increase our cotton because one thing that we are struggling with at the moment is we are really struggling with clothes. So what we want to do, like our clothes are 30% up, they're 13% of our people's expenditures, so we want to make those cheaper for as many people as we can. So that's what we're going to do. Did I just get a message? Discord? I don't know. Did I? Have you done? I don't know. Okay, the Uzbeks might have a secession movement, but if they do, they're going to do it. If they do want to do that, then we'll see how it goes. How's this war going right now? Bavaria has slightly pushed into Austria. Hanover has been completely occupied. And yeah, Prussia's just made a huge push into central Slovakia. Hesse wants me to join their side against... No, I'm not joining. Random revolutions going on in Germany. So, iron mines have almost been built in Perm, which, again, has dropped the price of iron by quite... Oh, actually, has it? Because the thingy market... Ah, right. That's why it's not doing so hot. Because the Russian market still needs a lot of iron, but the mines in Perm, they are too, they aren't connected to Russia yet. Not connected to the Russian market. They have low infrastructure. So yeah, you can see that the Urals have got low infrastructure, so it's not really great. What's going on in China right now? Or is it Malaysia? The thing is, I don't actually mind keeping the labourers because what we want to do is we want to shift our population from being peasants into serfs. Not serfs. Peasants into labourers and stuff. And the problem is, because we've got so much subsistence farming, because we've got serfdom, we do produce a lot of grain. It would massively drop the amount of grain we would make when we shift out of serfdom, which is why we have to get a good amount of grain ready to go. You know, we have to have a good market for grain, so that when we do shift from serfdom, we aren't going to suddenly be like, we have no grain left. We are going to literally lose everybody. And I think the thing is you can see that the farms, even though we have, like, these farms in Kiev are only making grain. That is all they are making. Okay? They're making £6,000 a week. Okay? They are absolutely rolling in it. Despite the fact our grain is 6.5% cheaper than the base price. But then because we also have fairly cheap fertilizer, which we can also make cheaper throughout. Well, no, they don't actually have slaves working for them. These are not serfs, these labourers. The serfs work on these lands. The difference is what it prevents. What is it that the serfdom? There's a thing about the only reason you keep serfdom around. Oh yeah, it gives the landowners more political strength. That's why they like it, basically. But then the thing is the landowners still are the, what do you call it? Still these guys. So, anything, they're making more money off that. Like, if anything, they want us to get rid of serfdom, but because it gives them political power, they won't. How are we doing on liquor? We have 1,000 liquor at the moment. Thing is, I don't want to get rid of that either. We have a trade for liquor with the Chinese, and I don't want to get rid of that. We're importing liquor from there. I mean, we're selling it basically. We're buying it from the Chinese super cheap, and then we're basically selling it on to the Italians at a higher price. But I don't really want to get rid of it because it would lose us 11k in tariffs. It's really good for us. Like, yeah, 13k from the import of liquor. We don't want to get rid of that at all. 4k from the export of wood, which is all to France. Yeah. We'll get to the point where we'll be able to cut the taxes and then everyone will be happy. Currently building some more textile mills in Ingra, although we do have high prices for dyes. So let's see if we can import that from somewhere. Dutch market might be the best place. Sure, why not? Gets the price of dyes down, which in turn, you know, means that our thingy factories, clothes factories, makes more money, which means that improves everything. It makes it all good. All good, all good. Still number 6 worldwide for our economy. Who are we behind? We're behind the Americans, the French, East India Company, Britain, and China. China is going to take a while to overtake because China has a huge GDP just because of a huge population. Their GDP per capita, though, is awful. Yeah, 61p. It's not as good as us. I mean, ours isn't great either because we've got the 3rd largest population in the world as well, behind the East India Company and China itself, Qing. But be fine. Absolutely be fine. We're going to use that population for good eventually. We have an arms industry here up in Novgorod. Oh, because of the iron issues. Sure, let's get some streetlights. Crystal glass. Now, where do we have a glass factory? Probably in Moscow. No? St. Petersburg? No. We must have a glass factory somewhere. Lesser Poland. Okay, that's better. Now, if we were to make crystal glass, it wouldn't require any wood, but it would require lead, which we haven't got in availability at the moment. They're currently making forest glass. Okay, no worries. Glass isn't being used that much at the moment anyway. Now, what is the infrastructure of Uzbekia? Is fine. It needs to be incorporated though eventually. That's the one we need to kind of get focused, is Urals. We get that iron in. I mean, it's dropping, which is good, but we do need to get that iron in. Now, one thing I am actually curious about, I just thought about this, is are our arts academies making any money? Because people should be buying art soon. I can never find Moscow. I always lose it, it's there. We have a university in Moscow, but like, the arts academies, yeah, they are being bought. Capitalists are the ones who are buying it the most. Art is one of this weird one where, like, barely... At the beginning of the game, nobody buys it, and they just kind of don't do anything. They just make no money. But if people start buying it, better. This is producing 2 lots of art. It's got 1,000 people working here. I'm not down again. But I do love with this game that it feels like, you know, you're actually building a genuine economy that isn't just a sense of, oh, we are building a, you know, we just need to build this factory because I need an industrial score. You know, that's what it kind of felt like with Victoria 2. That you were just building factories for points rather than like any kind of reason. And the only reason you wanted them to work was so that you got, you know, money out there. So you know, you got those points to stick around. But with Victoria 3, it does genuinely feel like, hey, no, now you're building an economy. You know, you need basic goods for the majority of your people, but then you also need more luxury goods for, you know, your upper class. And, you know, the more you build an upper class, the more ability you have to build that, you know, those luxury goods buildings that then would, you know, use them. So those art academies, for example, you know, at the beginning of the game, they don't make a lot of money because we don't have anybody to buy art now. But because you know, we now are making more capitalists, we even have shopkeepers who are making shit tons of money, you know, because it's only bought by people who are at level 30, you know, wealth level 30 and above. It's like, cool, we want to buy this art to go stick up somewhere in our house. And I like that. I think that's a really nice little thing. Something that doesn't really kind of, you don't really get from, you know, the game Victoria 2, sorry. You don't get it from the you know, what came before. So I like that. I think it's a really nice thing. Okay, so we're building the cotton farms, or cotton plantations, let's not beat around the bush here, in Uzbekia. I also want to tap into their lead mines so we can make more glass. The reason being is we've got a few urban centres and I want to move towards market squares because what I want to provide us with is more services. Because services are great. They will increase a middle class rather than labourers. And again, they will buy more shit. They'll buy better goods from us. Our economy is going up nicely. at the moment. Clerks also, we don't really like them supporting the petty bourgeoisie, but the petty bourgeoisie is still better than the landed gentry. We want them to support the intelligentsia for the time being, though. So yeah, I mean, clerks are better than labourers, basically. They're going to be more politically involved. But yeah, see, we've got shopkeepers in Moscow who are fucking wealthy as. Services are still quite expensive, but then that's the thing. Services are expensive. Get that down, people are going to be happy. Uh-oh, Polish people are leaving. They're going to Pondicherry. Uh-oh, they're going to India. Good. Luxury furniture is something we're not really making at the moment. Although we could do that. Sure. Furniture manufacturers in Moscow is not going to make too much of a difference. Doesn't actually make them any less furniture, any less standard furniture. It just means they make more luxury furniture. And again, that hires shopkeepers, middle class. But these guys go to the petty bourgeoisie, which is a bit annoying.